was just getting into it. I was just about to break down. Anyway, hey everybody,
Hey,
welcome to
everybody.
Doing the Doctorate. This is the podcast that inspires, informs, and impacts doctoral dreamers, and the place where we celebrate doctors who are doing what doctors do, and that is making a dynamic difference in the world. I'm Dr. Kesslyn, award winning university professor, doctoral coach,
Yes,
speaker, author,
all of
founder of
it.
the PhD Consultants, mom,
All of it.
and host of Doing the
Woo!
Doctorate podcast. But y'all know I don't do it alone, right? Sitting in the cockpit with me is the
Mm.
fabulous, the amazing early childhood educator. Did I say
Yep.
that right? I think I
Yeah,
did when I
you
said
did. Early childhood educator.
early
Here it
childhood
is.
educator. Listen, it's a Sunday night at 8 o'clock, and I'm still
Listen,
here. Okay,
you already know.
exceptional early childhood educator, mompreneur, founder of STEM Early LLC, and the show stopping co-host that has the coolest name, Dr. O. Hey,
Hey,
oh,
oh,
hey, oh,
hey,
oh,
hey,
how you
everybody.
doing?
And I'm good. It's been a week. It's been a crazy week. A lot of things
Yes,
happening in the news this week, but we're here. We made it, and I'm
yes,
excited. I'm
yes.
just excited to be here, and I'm so grateful for you for creating this space. We are on episode
Three,
3,
hey, three.
and we're here. So I'm super excited. So tell us what we're getting into tonight. How are you going to inspire all of us out here who are doing the doctorate? What we getting into?
Tonight, it's going to be really important, you all. It's going to be really important. So listen, grab your doctoral friends, your folk who have doctorates, your friends who are studying to be doctors. Bring everybody in the space. Tell them that the doctor's alive. Doing the doctorate is
Mm,
live. We have some important information that we're going to share tonight about how to keep yourself well. How to keep yourself
mm,
well. Let me start with the Doing the Doctorate quote, which comes at the beginning of every show. We share a point of inspiration, something for you to think about, usually written by a doctor. And tonight's Doing the Doctorate is by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said, check this out, oh, power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands
mm.
against love. That's a mouthful, right? It's a mouthful. Let me read it again. Let me read it again because I know that's a lot to take in.
A
It's a lot
lot.
to
It's a
take in.
lot.
Power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. But power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. Whoa, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. That's a lot. I just want to
That's
know
a
what.
lot. That's a lot. I would
Yeah,
love to know your thoughts, but the two things that ring out as you read it
yeah.
was recklessness and anemia. And it
Mm-hmm.
seems like what he's talking about are two opposite ends of a spectrum. And
Mhm,
then how do we get back to the middle?
mhm.
How do we mix that power and that love so that we're not, absolute power corrupting
Yes,
absolutely,
yes,
or all lovey-dovey, but not the ability to speak the truth because we don't
yes,
want to hurt people's feelings,
yeah,
right? So I just that's a lot
yeah.
because it seems like a lot of us spend our lives on one or the other side of the spectrum
Mhm.
versus getting back to the middle because situation and circumstances drive us seemingly to
Yes,
either side of the spectrum depending on where we are, especially in the process of doing the doctorate. So it's almost like how do you get to the middle when so much is happening
Yes.
around us that would make us want to be really, really angry and just be mad, 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 mad,
Yes.
or just indifferent.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like that
Absolutely.
middle piece.
Like, where's the middle ground with that, right? I like that. I actually am holding on to the last part of what he said, which
Mm,
is power at its best. At its best is love implementing the demands of justice, right? We sometimes don't think about love and justice going hand in hand,
mm,
but power is when love implements the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. And for me, I think through the lens of a researcher or a doctoral coach, right? I see our research as a way of doing all of this.
mm,
See our research as a way of showing what justice is. Our research is a way of showing love. This is how we love folk. This is how we provide for their needs. This is how we understand their experience. And our research is a way in which we can operationalize and
mm.
conceptualize love and justice in a very real, tangible way. So when I heard that quote, I was like, whoa, that's deep.
Mm.
That's deep. That's my chair squeaking. I was like, I'm real. I was like, that's deep, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm with that. I'm with that. Yeah, that was a good one.
So, so here's my question.
Yeah.
If I'm in this process and I am doing my research, but I'm not looking at it through the lens of love and community, then how is that detrimental for the future?
Well, I think your research really should you have to examine why you're doing the research.
Mm,
Really. And I talk about your why all the time. I haven't done it on this podcast, but I talk about your why all the time. Why are you doing this work? And if it's not steeped in love and change and justice
mm,
and moving our society forward, then what is the purpose of your research? We have to do a significance of the study. What difference will your study make if
I
it's
like
not
it.
steeped in love and justice and moving us forward to do great things for the world, right? So you have to go back and re examine your why. Why
Mm,
am I even doing this? What is the purpose? What do I want in the end? Who do I want to positively impact from this work?
mm. And
Yeah.
that that may require you to sit down and think a little bit.
Yeah. I just was talking to some doctoral folk a few minutes ago, and we were talking about the relevance of your research.
Mm,
And the reality is that our research has provides us with an opportunity to change the world. We say it at the end of this podcast, your research matters because it really does. But if it's not steeped in love and a search for truth and justice, if it's just because you want power and position that comes with being a doctor,
mm.
then
Wow.
I want to challenge you to re-examine your why, because
Ooh.
that's not what's going to last. The position, the power that comes with being called a doctor, it's cool. It's cool, right? But
Mm.
it's not going to last. And you hopefully um, will have your degree to make a dynamic difference in the world. We
Wow.
want to encourage you to move toward that.
I'm taking notes. I don't know if you all are taking notes, but listen, baby, I'm taking notes right now. I feel like I'm getting a free session with
Man,
Dr. Kesslyn. That is good.
that's why I do what I do.
That is good.
Yeah. Thanks,
That,
honey.
wow. Wow. All right, I can
Before,
stay on this forever, but I know we got to do the roll call. But
because we always run behind. We always run behind.
I feel like I got three more questions, but I'm like, no, no, stay focused.
Stay
It's the
focused.
roll
Oh,
call.
stay focused. Stay focused. You all don't know. We talk like this, like we really dig deeply and we examine. We're doctors. That's what we do, right? We're
We
doctors.
do.
We examine and analyze thoughts
Yeah,
all the time,
all the time.
all the time, because we really want to use, who we are in totality to make a difference in the world. So
Sure. For
I
sure.
appreciate that. So there are some other doctors. Are there other doctors? If you're in this space, we like to shout you out. So please put in the comments, in the chat, put it below. We
Yes.
want to know who you are. We want to know your doctor. What do you have a doctorate in? Your doctorate is in, and just list it, where you're from. We really want to use this space to
Yes.
let other folk know you can get a doctoral degree in almost any field.
Hmm.
Any field. So when you're putting your information in the chat, you're representing your field. So put it
Yes.
in the
Put
chat,
it in
put
the
it
chat.
in the comments, type it below. We want to see who you are, who's in the space today, and shout you out. We also want to shout out Dr. O, our doctor on duty.
Yes.
Every week, we shout out a doctor who is doing what doctors do.
Hmm.
Doctors who are making a dynamic difference in the world. And today, I get a chance to introduce to some of you a doctor who is absolutely amazing. She is a scholar, she is a writer, she is a womanist theologian. Hello.
Mm.
She
I
is
love
an accomplished administrator in higher ed. She was appointed the founding director of the Center for African American Religious Life at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. This woman is bad, y'all. She currently serves as a professor and dean of the Howard University School of Divinity, but we just heard some breaking news this week. She's doing some amazing things. She's moving on from Howard to become the dean of the Vanderbilt Divinity School. And I'm talking about none other than Dr. Yolanda Pierce. Dr. Pierce is bad. Her research specialties include literature and religion, womanist theology, and African American religions. She's written books. She's been published. She's been acknowledged in Time magazine, and she's been acknowledged in other magazines. She has written, published, published, and published, and published, and published. And she's just bad, y'all. So we are excited today to acknowledge that our doctor on duty is Dr. Dean Yolanda Pierce. She's also a woman of Alpha Kappa Alpha
Yes.
Sorority
Yes.
Incorporated. I'm a little biased. I'm a little
It's
biased.
okay. It's okay.
She's bad, Doc. She did
She
that.
did that.
She did that.
She did that.
Yeah, she's a bad woman. Listen, there may be other people that are doing amazing work in the community, and we want to shout them out.
Absolutely.
Again, we're here to inform, inspire, and impact those who are doctoral dreamers, but we want to celebrate doctors who are doing what doctors do, which is making a dynamic difference in the world. If you have a doctor that you want to celebrate, you want to acknowledge, please shoot us an email, Dr. Kesslyn at the PhD Consultant, and tell us about this person that you want to nominate to be this week's doctor on duty. Give us their name, give us a little bit about their bio. You may want to send the link so that we can check out some of their social media, their LinkedIn page. But tell us, we want to shout out doctors in our community who are making a difference. What do you think about that? Oh,
Listen, send it to us because, again, like you said earlier, it's really all about doing the work and making a change. And a quote came to my mind and I pulled it up because I got my pen and my notes.
yeah.
If y'all are watching this podcast and you don't have a pen and some paper, you're missing out because
Oh my goodness.
note takers are what? History makers. So
Yes.
quote that I pulled up by John Lewis. He said, "Nothing can stop the power of a committed and a determined people to make a difference in our society." Why? Because human beings are the most dynamic link to the divine on this planet. And that really speaks to everything that you've been talking about, Dr. Kesslyn. Our why is connected to humanity because humanity is connected to the divine. And if everybody thought of humanity as being connected to one another and to the divine, I think we would have less tragedies like we experienced this week. And so for me, it's really about really looking at my research and my why, and how is that going to impact lives? How is that going to change the course of humanity for the better?
Yes, yes. That sounds like our call to the doctors. Think
Mm,
about your research and how your research connects to making the world a better place, right?
mm,
How your research connects. So that's our call to the doctors. Do your work, do your research. Think about
yes,
how it connects to other folk. In this segment, this next segment, we call doctor's orders,
yes,
right?
yes.
People always say, I need a doctor to help me with this. And then the doctor gives a prescription and gives the order. Well, this is our doctor's orders. The reality in this segment is that we give you some information, some really practical tips for those who are in the doctoral journey. We give you some practical tips of how to get through. Dr. O, this week was really difficult,
Yeah, very,
really difficult.
especially for early childhood educators.
Absolutely.
Any educator, really.
Absolutely. It was really difficult because we had yet another. I like, how many times are we going to say this, right? Yet another school shooting. Yet another. And I just, as I watch the news, I just, how many more? How many
Mercy.
more? The reality is that there are lots of people, who are challenged, right? There are
Mhm.
lots of people who are struggling with different things. And the other reality is that there are a lot of doctors. There are a lot of doctoral pursuers who are struggling. So as I put on my tam, because I forgot it last week.
Because I'm put mine on too.
I'll put it on.
Put mine
As
on as
I, as
well.
I put on my tam and give the doctor's
Yes,
orders,
give
I'm
us
going to just share some information about mental health. Doctor's orders. So many folk are talking about self-care, right? Self-care. That's like the end thing. But the
Mhm.
reality is most people are practicing self-survival.
Ooh,
We're
ooh,
just
wait.
trying to, there's, let's write that down. We talk about self-care, but most people, including me sometimes, right? We're just trying to survive. Some people are talking about thriving. We haven't gotten to thriving yet. We're trying to survive. And so I want to give you some data. We're doctors. I want to give you some information for doctoral pursuers and those who are in doctoral programs. Check this out. I was doing some research earlier today about mental health, because this school shootings directly connect not only to gun violence, which conversation for another day, but
Mhm.
also mental health concerns. So I did some research on mental health for those who are in graduate school and those who are in doctoral programs. Here's what I found. Graduate students around the world need more support to manage mental health issues such as depression, anxiety. They're experiencing worry at a higher rate than others, despite what they are studying. So you could be studying counseling and psychology and social work in your program, but that doesn't exclude you from feeling some of the anxiety at a higher
Mm.
level than other folk feel. Here's the data. Just over 1/3 of PhD students have considered ending their studies because of emotional mental health distress. 1/3. 58% of doctoral students are concerned about their own mental health.
Mm.
58%. Isn't that something? More than 40% of doctoral students meet the criteria for severe depression or anxiety.
Wow.
Meet the criteria, right? This one is scary. 33 to 35% of both PhD students and working professionals meet the criteria for being at suicide risk. Think
Mm.
about that. Think about that. 32% of PhD students are at risk of developing common psychiatric disorders, especially depression. So we're talking about some of the challenges that doctoral students face. I don't just want to leave you with the depressing numbers, the depressing stats. I
Mhm.
want to provide you in our few minutes of doctor's orders. I'm going to order you to practice some self care. And I'm talking to myself as well. Whether you are in a doc program or you're doing what doctors do, we need to take care of ourselves. So here's some tips. You're writing. You're writing.
You already know. I'm ready.
All right. Remind yourself. I'm just going to go down a list. Remind yourself to take breaks.
Mm. Somebody put that in the chat. Take a
Right. Take a
Dr.
break.
Kesslyn said, take a
Take a
break.
break. Take a break. Because you can't think when you're not rested, when
You
you're
can't. You
thinking
cannot.
you can produce. So take a break. Give yourself the opportunity to take a break. The other thing that we tend to do, we don't eat well.
Ooh, you in my street. Ooh.
Stress. I have the bag of chips. The bag of chips. We indulge in how many cups of coffee a day? Like, oh,
Convicted.
listen,
Convicted.
I'm sorry. I'm
Just,
sorry you
just put
told.
convicted in the chat. And if you're
Okay.
watching this on the replay, you might as well put convicted because
Convicted
you're
in the
convicted.
chat.
Just put
Listen,
convicted in the chat.
take a break, eat and eat well, like whole foods that are going to feed you. Eat well, set your limits. Take some time away, just go away. I have one person in my program who just she used to go away about once every 2 months just to recalibrate. Yeah,
Wow. That's
recalibrate once away. And when she would come back to the group, she was all cylinders go. She was on fire. So go away, focus on your goals. We often get distracted. We get distracted. We lose focus. Focus on your goals. And once you focus, schedule a time to work toward accomplishing the goals. I
mm,
always tell folk, I'm an early morning person. I tend to work best from 4 until 6 in the morning, 4 until 7, right? Some people are nighttime people. That is not me. Whatever your circadian rhythm is, and I talk about this when I'm coaching folk, whatever your rhythm is, you need to maximize that time to work toward accomplishing your doctoral goals.
good.
So
That's
set a
good.
schedule. Also, including your schedule, some time to have fun,
Yes.
engage with friends. Hello, all work and no play. That doesn't work. Set some time to engage with your friends, visit your loved ones who fill your cup. Notice I said who fill your cup, not the ones that take away. Come on.
And
Not
listen, and you know who they are.
and you know who they are. You might want to check in with them on special holidays, but in terms of filling your cup, you need to be around family and friends who love you and don't want anything from you. They just want to love on you and fill your cup. And I said I implied this earlier. Set your routine. One of the last two things. Last week we talked about getting in a community,
Yes.
in the right community.
Yes.
But here it is. Ask for help.
Period.
Ask for help.
Period. And say la. Somebody put say la in the chat.
Right. Because we sometimes we get to this place and we think we're supposed to have it all together and we're supposed to know everything. And why do I feel sad? And why am I frustrated? Because this literature review and this chapter 3 are kicking my butt. Like I'm supposed to know. And we sit in the corner moping when we don't have to be alone. The journey is isolating and depressing in itself. Ask for
Yes.
help. Please ask for help. You don't have to be in that 1/3% of doctoral folk who are wanting to quit their program for mental health
Mm.
concerns. You don't have to be on the suicide watch list. No, ask for help. I I do this work with the PhD consultants because I understand what it was like to be lonely and depressed and sad and anxious and not wanting to finish and wanting to finish but not knowing how. It wasn't until I found my own community. It wasn't like what I have now with the PhD consultants, but I found my own group of folk who could encourage and support and bring it to pass. We have that support through the PhD consultants.
Yes.
Reach out to me. I am intentional about having safe spaces and about encouraging folk to practice self-care in their own way. That's what we do. Oh, that's what we do. Why? Because we need you around.
We do.
Your research is important. All right. So that's the doctor's orders. Doctor's orders for this
Woo!
week.
Wait, we need a minute. Hold on. We need a
Self-care.
minute. We
Okay.
need a minute. That was a lot. And I just want to encourage everyone that is watching, that is in the doctoral process. I just want to encourage you to humble yourself and receive this wisdom from Dr. Kesslyn. Listen, don't be tricked into a posture of self-defense that breaks this communication that you're receiving right now, because some of the stuff she said, she was tap dancing on our road, like eating healthy and scheduling the time, and sometimes we want to just be defensive because we were like, no, I got this. But guess what? A lot of times we don't got this.
But right.
So
and
we
it's
have
okay because nobody else in the
okay.
journey has it either.
Nobody has it.
That's
And so for me, my takeaway is to really just humble myself and receive the wisdom that you just gave us for free. Listen, that's why I got my pen. When gems are dropping, Dr. O is writing. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Listen, one day we're not going to be able to afford you. And I'm here for the freebies. But yes. So thank you so much for that, because we need it. Absolutely. It's very sobering, but we need it, especially in light of, tragedies and the things that we've been facing. Because, when tragedy strikes, it really forces you to stop and really ask yourself some hard questions. Why am I not asking for help? I've been on chapter 3 for 29 years. Why am I not asking for help? Why am I not plugging into community? Dr. Kesslyn has been saying get in community for 29 million years, and yet I'm still on Gilligan's Island trying to get off. So again,
trying to paddle in the ocean.
Don't do it. Don't do it, because none of us have it.
That's right.
None of us have it all together. We're all in this journey together. So for me, it's really about, somebody put in the chat, humble myself and receive this wisdom. Because what is wisdom designed to do? It's designed to shrink time.
Yes.
You've been there.
I love when you say that. You said that in the podcast. Wisdom is designed to shrink time. Powerful.
Yeah. And that's what you're doing for us. We can learn by doing, or we can learn from somebody else's doing.
Well,
it was good.
I'm glad that's almost it. That's almost it. House call. Who are you visiting this week? Do you even know?
Oh, it's spring break. Our spring break starts tomorrow. So we are headed to Pittsburgh, and I think we're going to leave tonight. And so we'll be there. We're trying to stay for the whole week, but I have a lot of responsibilities at church. I'm in charge of the Easter egg hunt and all that fun stuff. And then I also have to do a training on Wednesday. So during my spring break.
Well, we need you to do that.
But it's virtual. It's virtual. So
okay, good. What am I doing? I think this week. Listen, I think this week I'm going to Chicago to the NABSW, National Association of Black Social Workers annual convention. So that's going to be cool, and doing a few other trainings. So it's going to be another wonderfully blessed and busy week. And I'm thankful that I get to meet some folk and network and represent and support some doctors who are going through, and some master's professionals who are going through. So I'm thankful. It's going to be a busy week. So that my house call is going to be in Chicago.
There it is.
Yeah. So it's time for us to be out, Doc. It's time for us to be out. We are at our time. We always go over.
We overtime, but this is good. I'm gonna watch the replay myself.
Check self-care. Check. Did I eat right? Check. Did I drink my water? Check. Did I have my coffee? Check. We're gonna work on it. Help
me, Jesus.
Let me just leave you all with one more quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This one caught me too. He said, "Rarely do we find men who willfully engage in hard, solid thinking.
Mm,
There's an almost universal quest for easy answers and half baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think." Oh my goodness. We want to encourage you to think. This
yes.
process is one that encourages you to be a critical thinker and then use your critical thinking to develop programs and policies and practices that will impact the masses. Remember the doctoral degree. It
Mm,
makes you think. The doctoral degree is not merely a degree of intelligence, it is a degree of persistence.
persistence.
And we are here to help you persist. Why? Because your
Reach.
research matters. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Have a good one, everybody. Be good, be well, be safe, and we'll
Say,
see you next time. Bye
see you
bye.
next time. Bye, y'all.